Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Siren, and welcome to tonight's stream. So, I am just going to be doing some rafting tonight. It's one of my favorite games, and it's just kind of something calm and uh, chill to just get us through this cold winter's evening. It is very cold in the US right now. I don't know where everyone is, but where I am in the Midwest, we have had quite the cold front move in. I know it's been pretty bad down south as well. Hope everyone's doing okay down there. But we got a lot of snow here, or at least a lot of snow for us where I live. To places like, I don't know, Canada or something would probably seem like nothing, but we got about a good foot of snow here, and that's pretty unusual for us. So it's been a little crazy. So just wanted to do something kind of calm and relaxing tonight. Um, I've played a little bit of Subnautica, a little bit of Dragon Age, a little bit of this and that here and there, but I want to make a new raft and just kind of go from there, and it'll be my sort of stream raft going forward. So, without further ado, I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to call it uh, Siren's Raft now, just for ease of access. And we will get in here. So, for anyone who has not played Raft before or seen Raft, it's very simple. It's basically just you are essentially in Waterworld, if you've ever seen that movie, where everything is just ocean. We are, excuse me, on a little boat in the middle of nowhere. We're just kind of floating along. And we're going to start with the absolute basics here. So we literally just have a little hook and we're on like four by four, not a four by four, but two by two, like little raft here. I'm not super good at doing the actual hook part. So these early hours of the game are going to be some of the hardest. I'll be really excited when we unlock the sweep nets. So basically, you can just kind of put those on the sides of your raft and it'll just automatically pick stuff up. So sure, it's gonna be a friend. See, this is the thing, is I struggle with like perspective. I don't know if it's just my eyes or my screen or what, but I always tend to overshoot or undershoot, like throwing the hook. It's a cool mechanic, and I do like it a lot. I literally just almost always will miss stuff, so I will be very excited when we don't have to just get things by hand anymore. So one of the first things I'm going to want to make is a builder's hammer, because that's going to let us build up our raft, and it's also going to uh, let me repair my raft if it's damaged, which is going to be especially important here in the early game because that shark that we saw, that little friend, yes, there he is, hello, is going to be occasionally attacking our raft, and we're not going to have much to defend ourselves with. I can make a spear to get him off, but that's a lot of resources, and that's not my top priority right now. You see that one just kind of, that barrel like glitched into that almost because that was not touching it. Um, but it is just a beautiful game as well. It is so simple and yet so effective. Much like Minecraft, I think what makes Raft so effective is that it does not have to be this overly complicated, like elaborate game with a shit ton of mechanics in order to be fun. It just is, it's got a good art style and it actually has a pretty good story. I like the story a lot. We'll be getting through the story very slowly in these playthroughs. I like to meander in my games and yeah, we'll see that as we go along, but it really is actually quite an effective story that's going to tell us sort of how we got to this place, you know, how Earth became just water world here. So I made an announcement earlier on my couple of my social medias, my Ko-fi, my Tumblr, Twitter, everything like that. All the links for all of my social medias are in my Twitch description, but also just if you ever have trouble finding something, it's going to be at New Dark Siren or some variant thereof pretty much every single time. So if you ever have trouble finding something, trust me, it's usually going to be New Dark Siren of some variant, and it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. But the announcement was about my Patreon. So I've had a Patreon that I made a couple days ago. But there haven't been many perks on it yet because I'm getting started as a streamer, and I'm not really sure what I wanted to have as my sort of rewards, my goals, and so forth. And I'm still working on that. But one of the things I thought of first off is I crochet. I think a lot of Midwestern gals do, so I'm not really special there. But I crochet. I learned it from my sister. She is incredible at crochet. She can make literally anything. And I'm just starting out, so I'm not promising anything like incredible. I'm by no means a master of the craft, but I thought one of the fun little rewards for new subscribers, um, not to either my Patreon, to my Twitch, my Ko-Fi, anything, any social media of your choice that you're subscribing to. Not only are you going to get access to my channel's personal Discord server, which I have just finished making recently, and that is still in development as well. It's very much the basics, but it's kind of just a place to hang out and chat with me and other followers of the channel. But also, I'm going to be making a lot of handmade things for people. Specifically, I am going to be starting kind of basic with I want to be making scarves for people because that is one of the few things that I can actually do pretty effectively. I've made a couple scarves for for family and friends, and for myself actually, because of like I said, it's been pretty cold around here recently. So I've been wearing my own work, so to speak, while I'm out and about. And hey, I'll tell you this much: they might not be the most extravagant, like I guess creations you've ever seen. It's certainly I'm not going to be winning any like art awards or anything, but it's effective. It works as a scarf, and if that's all you need, then hey, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. I'll probably be bouncing off this island in just a second. But at least wanting to get like, the trees here. So if, like I was saying, if you subscribe to, you could either, hey Jana, joining me. I am good, and my stream's just started, but I think it's going okay. Welcome in. How are you? I do play other games. I use mostly survival-based kind of crafting stuff. Raft is going to be one that I play quite often, but also long-form RPGs. So anything that's like, um, you know, uh, Dragon Age I'm going to be doing, and also, yeah, Mass Effect. I am a daily streamer, Gianna, so I am just starting out, very new to Twitch, but I am hoping to be streaming every single day. Probably the schedule that I've got on my stream right now is, if you look at the under my stream schedule right now, is what I am aspiring to. So it's going to be something different every day, but going to be aiming for several hours. So tonight's is just getting started. I've started a new world here in Raft. Yeah, go ahead. So I am working on it. Gianna, I have a close friend of mine is a VTuber who's been active for a while. That's Dimitri. You can find him recommended in my recommended channels under Twitch. But because I am just getting started, that is all a work in progress. So I, the simple answer is because I don't have them ready yet. But they are in the process of being made. So I am my profile picture that I had made for that was made an art commission. Somebody I commissioned, Ko-Fi, she was very kind to do that. That was MC Illustrations who made that, so she did a great job. And I'm currently talking with somebody who is making a VTuber model for me, but that takes time, so we are waiting on that. That is why I do not have it ready quite yet. Oh, Gianna, that's very sweet of you, and I do appreciate that, but I am already in the process of paying somebody for their work, so I do not want to step on any toes there. You are welcome to kind of post links to your social in chat if you want, just to get yourself out there. But I am afraid that I can only I want to support as many artists as I can, but I have limits financially. I cannot commission every artist that comes along. I'm sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Um, so yeah, I am a relatively new VTuber, obviously. I mean, it's like painfully obvious I am such a newbie at everything, but I am in the process of kind of getting to the point where I can have, sort of a bit more reputable channel. Patreon, the Ko-Fi, all of the other social medias where you can find me are just one of those. And so subscribers to anything, either subscribing to me on Twitch or if you are going to pledge on Ko-Fi, or if you are uh, on my Patreon at all, getting any sort of donations like that, just know that anyone who follows me on that stuff, that it will be getting access to the personal Discord, and then also I will be hand making crochet objects for everyone. So that's one of my new subscribers perks. It's also just kind of in general for anyone who's pledging money of any kind. Um, but I am already in talks with somebody who has already been paid, that is been commissioned to make a VTuber model for me. So she is working on that. And also the icon that I have currently was made by the wonderful MC Illustrations. You can find her on Ko-Fi or on Tumblr. It's at MC underscore illustrations. She did incredible work in a very short amount of time, so very grateful to her for that. Okay. Well, we are just floating along in these stormy seas now. I am hoping I'll be able to get some food going before I starve to death, but you never know. I'm also kind of low on water, but I need more plastic, so I can make a little scoop here to get scooping water in there. Rockin', rockin' and rollin' down to the beach and strolling. Got the seagulls back at my feet. Set seagulls, stop it now. It's just you and me, little potato, against the world, waiting for you to grow. It's hard to tell which way the tide is going. I want to say it's going like this way. But I really need to make one of these so I can tell which way. And I said tide, but I meant the air. Oh yeah, it's going totally the opposite way. There we go. Ka-chow! Well, that just completely missed everything. But it's the thought that counts. I think I've got that position where the wind is. It is getting quite stormy out here. I really need plastic, though. Sail's kind of in my way. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see. Oh, for fuck's sake. Get out of here. He's quite rude, that shark, I will say that. Always showing up, trying to destroy my boat. Very rude. This game does also have a good multiplayer, so I might at some point try to have some guests on. Not sure who or when, but I was mentioning earlier, another Twitch streamer, bit of a friend of mine. I've known him for quite some time, but he goes by Demitree here on Twitch, and also he's got a YouTube, I believe, that he's made recently to have some of his clips and everything on air. But he composes music as VTuber, and he also does video games sometimes, and he's also just been my friend in my personal life for a long time. I've known him forever. He is my brother's roommate, actually. People who are familiar with Demi's streams will know my brother as Aatrox. He's been a mod and everything on there for a long time because, again, they do live together, and they've lived together for about 2 years now, I think. So it's quite funny to me anytime Demi streams and everyone's kind of like saying like hi to Aatrox or whatever, which is of course that is not his biological name. Do not worry, our parents did not name him after the Latin classification, the scientific name for a snake, but that would have been cool if they did. Demi's kind of one of the inspirations I had for getting into streaming. I've Well, I've always wanted to stream and be a YouTuber, anything like that, but it was always kind of like a childhood sort of dream, really, more than like, oh, this is something I can do. Because obviously it's just not really feasible. It's, not something you can really do to support yourself. But it's when I was young, like 11 or whatever, that's kind of when like the concept of Minecraft YouTubers and stuff like that really was like getting off, sounds awful. Becoming popular, perhaps is a more appropriate way to say that. And I just remember being like so enamored with these people who I thought were just like so creative and cool, and it just seemed like such a fun thing. And for a long time as a kid, I wanted to be like a video game streamer, but because there were so many and it was like such a saturated kind of area, and most of them were like adult men, not at the time, prepubescent girls, uh, best really, uh, that there weren't many of us in that space at that time. It was a little bit, um, my point being that um, I kind of just gave up on that because it was kind of like, oh, this is just something that as a kid you want to do, but it's not actually something you're really gonna do, like as an adult. But I don't know. Demi has been he's been working hard, these past, it's been like 2 years since he started VTubing, I think. And, he's going to be going to Austria at this convention. And we were talking, we're in a D&D group together. And I've just thought, my God, like, that seems really cool and fun and like something I would love to do. And he's just doing it. And he's older than me, not by much, about 2, 3 years maybe. And, well, no, it's probably more like 4, 5. I can't remember. Anyway, I know he's older than me. That's all I know. And there's just, it's like, hey, it was hard for him to get started, but he did it. And now he's doing it. And now he gets to go to Austria for it. So, I don't know, something about that just kind of gave me the confidence to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be streaming to nobody for a long time. It's going to be literally just me playing games that I like and talking to myself. But who cares? Because I'm gonna be playing the games anyway. Literally, I play Raft and The Forest and Dragon Age and some of the other things that are gonna be in my stream schedule, like all the time anyway. So, might as well just film myself doing it. And hey, if people, you know, want to start joining me for that in live streams or watching me on YouTube, then sure, that would be really cool. If not, then I'll just be cringe by myself in private. Um, if it was not clear from the accent or the fact that I said it already, I am a Midwestern U.S. gal, um, born and raised. I do not get to travel much, unfortunately. That's not really because I'm scared of travel or because I'm like, too young to do it or whatever. It's more of just like, I think everybody knows that travel is fucking expensive, and I just cannot afford it. I would love to be able to afford it. Do not get me wrong. I would love to be able to travel all over, not just the US and like Canada and, places where it's pretty easy to get by car, but I would love to go to Europe. I took French in high school and college. I'm by no means fluent. Do not get me wrong, but I love French as a language. I love a lot of languages, honestly, just from a etymology, I hope I pronounced that right, standpoint. And um, also took a bit of German, a bit of Spanish. I am very much, I think the definition of me as a person would be like jack of all trades, master of none. I am not fluent in multiple languages, but I do know a little bit of a bunch of random ones. And I know a lot of people would say that's silly or not really effective or you're not actually learning anything that way, but I don't know. It's just really fun to me to kind of know a little bit of like scattered throughout languages. And I love just languages in general, the similarities between them, the differences between them. the other day I was watching a documentary that um, had somebody that was being interviewed for it was speaking Portuguese, and I have never really heard anyone speak Portuguese uh, in person before. I knew that it's kind of similar to Spanish just in terms of its origin. I believe they're both Latin-based languages. If I'm wrong about that, then my sincerest apologies. Um, but it sounds so different to hear it spoken out loud. It almost, the only way I can describe it is it sounds like Spanish, but if it was spoken by somebody who is Russian. It's got a lot of the same kind of base words that are overlap with Spanish or French or Italian, stuff like that, but it's also got almost this inflection in the words or this way of speaking that reminds me of some Eastern European languages like Russian. And I hope that does not sound insulting to anyone because I'm not trying to be rude or come off as culturally insensitive. That's just what it sounds like to me, and I think it's really beautiful. My family is a mix of Italian and German, at least as far as we know. Um, my last name is very German on my dad's side, um, those grandparents, but my dad is actually adopted, so obviously, even though his parents that have raised him and that we consider our grandparents are not biologically, you know, um, related to him, and therefore we can't be German from that side. You know, because of, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Because of that last name, it always kind of feels like, I guess relate a lot to German as a language. And the area where I grew up in the Midwest, my sort of hometown, there is a very large population of German immigrants here. Um, and it was very common at my high school for people to take German as one of their languages. A lot of people take, like I said, I took Spanish and French. But all of my best friends in high school took German, which is kind of unusual for a lot of American high schools don't offer more than like two or three languages. So, and usually German is not one that they offer, so that's kind of why that's strange if you're not from America and you're wondering why that would be odd. It really depends on the size of your high school, I guess I should say, because my graduating class was maybe 300, and I'd say that's pretty small for a US high school, but obviously I've known people who have gone to high schools where their graduating class was like 20, so, not that crazy. Oh, it's getting dark. But I'm wanting to gather some more clay and sand while we're here because I want to get started on the process for making a grill. So what was I saying about languages? Oh yeah. So I love German as a language because my dad's side of the family is very German. There's a lot of overlap um, between that I've learned between German as a language and of course Dutch as a language and also Polish. There's a lot of the kids that I grew up with, people that are in my area, like I said, because there's such a large population of like German immigrants, is there's a lot of people that also are from Poland or from Austria and stuff like that. So it's not uncommon for a lot of people I grew up with to take those kind of languages or learn those kind of languages either in school or from family members. Um, oh, is he gonna come attack my thing again? Go away. Uh, so that my dad's side of the family is very German. My mom's side of the family is very Italian, funnily enough. Um, my great grandmother on my mom's side, so that is her father's mother and father, my her grandfather, her father's parents, I should say, are from Sicily, uh, and that has. I do not speak Italian by any means, not fluently or otherwise, but obviously Italian food and cooking has always been a part of our lives growing up. And, the pretty stereotypical, like my mom and grandma and everything are like fantastic cooks, like very much homemade kind of Italian cooking that is like, oh my God, it's so good. Um, Very lucky to have that and still do. I've got a decently sized extended family on my mom's side. Not so much on my dad's, but on my mom's, there's a lot of us, and we're all kind of just in the same area, funnily enough. So we're all just around and loud at family greetings. Um, I was talking about my brother and Demi, who he lives with, the VTuber. Um, and because they've lived together for so long and because Demi really is kind of like part of our family now, is he's been to several of our like family gatherings, and I will tell you it is a lot. For the uninitiated. It is always hilarious to watch new people kind of come into the fold, that are not ready for our family, because it is predominantly women for when we have almost no, we have like a distinct lack of male descendants in our family for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's like most of my cousins, etc., are all women, like a very strong matriarchal presence in our family, which is a good thing. But because of that, it is like exactly what you imagine if you're thinking of like, I don't know, The Sopranos or The Godfather or some shit whenever we get together. It's just like incredible food and everyone is so loud. It's just talking over each other. I'm kind of the quiet one of the family, actually. You will notice I have long periods in this where I am like just not talking. I'm trying to talk to make this interesting and have dialogue going, but a lot of times I will probably just sit here not saying anything. Um, no reason for that other than just it's what I'm kind of used to. I am used to being quiet, um, you know, because I grew up with so many like loud and people like over the top. I am not afraid to share my opinion on things, but also I am used to getting talked over. I am the youngest of three. Um, my brother, uh, who lives with Demi, who is known on his streams as Atrax, he is the oldest of us, of our siblings, actually. But we have a middle sister, and she is much more extroverted, over the, like talented, artistic, kind of musical gifted person. She's an incredible singer and very much louder than the rest of it. Not even like I'm not saying that as a bad thing because I love her. It's just like it is. I know to people who are not used to our family coming into family situations with us, they're always like, why is everyone shouting? And it's literally not even that anyone's shouting. It's just that is how we naturally talk. Is if somebody is talking at the same time as someone else, then you just talk louder to be heard to a separate. There's like three conversations going on at once in any room. And I know some people are like, that sounds like hell. But it's certainly something. You get used to it when you grow up with that kind of environment. But I love them, and it's just, our family is still very close even now. I see my parents like literally every weekend, which to some people I know would be categorically insane. Um, but it's just how it is. Like, I think I am very lucky to have a family that is so loving and close, but I also would not think that anybody needs to, how do I want to put this? Like, force themselves to be close with their family just for the sake of, oh, because they're family. Because I don't like that. Um, I am a openly gay person. I would consider myself a lesbian, but also you could call me gay. I don't care. You know, it's kind of, I know it bothers some people, but I would consider myself either a gay woman or a lesbian. You know, you can use either term to refer to me. It doesn't really bug me. Um, and where was I going with this? What was even my point? Oh, yeah. My point is that I know obviously I'm not saying all of my family is fantastic about me being gay. Definitely the extended relatives are kind of, well, most of them probably aren't even aware because if you do not talk to me enough to even like, you know my favorite color or some shit, then you're not gonna know, that I'm gay or whatever. But it's not that I'm like closeted. I am not really afraid about telling people about it, but it's not a matter of necessarily fear as much as it is just like when somebody's closeted, it's usually for safety reasons and not even because they're afraid of the people they're around, like friends or family, but just people in general. I mean, I'm not going to go into a random store in the middle of my hometown and just walk in and be like, "Hello, I'm very gay." Um, but then again, I do live in a kind of conservative area of the Midwest, kind of conservative. It's very conservative. Um, he's going to break my little ship here. Rude. Um, and because of that, it's hard, but it is still very much like, hey, I I got to be careful, you know? And that's unfortunate, but it's also just kind of something that every gay person has to live with, you know. Even your friends who you might not think are or seem very flagrant about it. Flagrant's not really a good word. Just unabashed, perhaps, or have no issue being out to people openly. Um, there's still always a sort of lack of confidence you get when you're in a unfamiliar area where you don't want, everybody maybe to know. Certainly not strangers. Um, and definitely not strangers where in the area that I live. Um, I am in the Midwest, but I am in part of the Midwest that is basically almost in the South. So, things are getting better with time, but also they're getting worse in some areas. So, by no means do I ever just, am I comfortable just kind of being out everywhere. Um, and I guess my point is to young people that are in that situation, if you feel like, if you are very young to the point where you worry about, um, your family either rejecting you outright or feeling like you should, you know, make amends with your family or something, or kind of like keep that relationship going, even if your family is cruel to you just because, oh, they're your family and that's what you're supposed to do. No, I think every gay person, when they're young, we go through this sort of thing of, hey, this person in my family is being a dick to me about me being gay, but also like, oh, it's my mom or my dad or someone who it's like, well, I'm supposed to love them. Well, that's horseshit, which I think as the years go by, the kids are all right. More and more gay youth, as it were, are kind of not giving a shit about that. But it is still hard, There's this feeling that even at the end of the day, once you get old enough to be like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me, I don't care, fuck it, I know what I like, I don't care what my parents think, I'm going to be my own person, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's still hard at the end of the day to have family members that are not supportive of you. And by no means do I think it, you know, is anyone's fault for not being, I don't know, supportive or, um, close with their family. I am close with my family because, you know, but I'm not close with all of my family, if that makes sense. And even the family members that I love that I am close with now, we're not always the best about things. I am very lucky that a lot of them have kind of come around on certain things, but there have been times in the past where, they were not the most supportive. They were not as supportive as they are now, or even were downright discriminatory. Um, and that is hard, when you are young and figuring things out. Um, I was closeted for a very long time. I live in a deeply religious area, and I went to a religious school, specifically a Christian school. It is difficult to reconcile this idea of wanting to be close to your family who has raised you and who loves you, but might not love all of you, and having to be the person who is like educating people, if that makes sense, in order to, because sometimes people phrase it in a way of like, oh, I just don't get it. When it comes to like trans people or gay people or whatever, they're like, I just don't understand. And at some point you have to be like, okay, maybe someone just hasn't had much interaction with, gay people or whatever. They genuinely are ignorant in an innocent way. But then other times it really is just incredibly annoying. And I guess I just want young gay people or gay people of any ages really to understand that it is okay to be annoyed with people you love and people around you who are, constantly asking you questions or, you having to be the source of information for this shit, because I get it. That shit sucks. It really is hard to be the one who has to be, you are just trying to live your life and be like a normal teenager or a child or whatever, and also you are having to, um, be a teacher and be patient and, put up with when people are essentially just making your life harder and being cruel to you. Like, it is exhausting and it isn't fair. Um, for those who are gay, but want to be, allies, want to try and avoid being sort of irritating in this way, simplest thing is just it's okay to ask, for information if somebody is okay with being that source of information. Don't assume that every gay person ever is, going to be happily, uh, ready to educate you on everything, because it truly is exhausting having to answer the same kind of stuff all the time, even if it is to friends or people you trust, etc. You know, and sometimes I do have no problem. Most of the time, I would say I have no problem answering people's questions, kind of, you know, helping to explain things to them so that they can understand. But also at the end of the day, there's a lot of days where it's like, hey, I'm fucking tired and it's none of your business anyway, so, let's not worry about this so much. It's not mean to get so deep and like upsetting there, but c'est la vie. Um, it is annoying that my health is so low because I do want to go down and get some like sand problem thing. happier things we can talk about? Um, hmm. Well, it's coming up on an hour, so I'll probably take a brief break here in a minute. Um, just so I have time to like go to the bathroom and let my dog out. Oh, that's something kind of nice and cheery I can talk about. I have a dog. Her name is Lily, and she is my baby. As most people's dogs are for them. She is a pit bull boxer mix. She's a rescue. I have had her since 2016. She was around 3 months old, they estimated when we got her, which would make her almost 10 years old now. We kind of consider, again, this is a guess because she was a rescue off the streets, so they were kind of just going based on her teeth and development like that to figure out that she was probably about 3 months when we got her, which we would then put her birthday sometime in February. So we sort of just celebrate her birthday around Valentine's, for, just to make it easy. Um, and which means she is coming up on being 10 years old, which is so sad. Like, no, it's not sad because she's fine, but it's also like she's getting older and it's hard. Um, but I will have to get up here in a minute and kind of let her out, let her go potty. Uh, it is very snowy right now, where I am. I mentioned that earlier, but it is really quite this about a foot of snow where I live right now. So I'm hoping that she'll be able to get outside and just kind of do her business without too much trouble. But I know it is kind of like she's not a fan of it right now, I'll tell you that. I really want to kill this shark so I can like go around and get all the sand and clay and stuff without him bothering me. He's very mean. He does a lot of damage. And my spear is just like a little baby spear. So it's not doing much damage to him. And he also has magic powers apparently and can clip through the world. Yay! Okay. Alright, I've got to act quickly here because he will respawn eventually. And of course it's right when it's getting dark, but we will do what we must. Basically, I need sand and clay because it's going to make bricks, and then I need to dry those bricks in order to make the smelter, which is how I'm going to smelt this ore that I've been picking up, this kind of metal ore around here. Just nondescript metal ore. I guess it's supposed to be iron or something, but it doesn't clarify. Um, and that's going to open up a lot more crafting opportunities for us once we have everything. So it will let us make like bolts and hinges and also better tools, which I desperately need because my tools keep breaking every 3 seconds. Oop, I'm drowning. That will probably happen a lot. You don't have a very long breath hold in this game. I mean, you can make stuff that gives you a longer breath hold. This stuff actually, seaweed smelting, that gives you. You can make like bottles that can then become like a little homemade rebreather, which is very cute. Um, but again, all of that I need to make the smelter first, which is why I'm trying to find all this sand and clay and everything. Hopefully, because my hook is almost done here. And I'll fucking drown again. don't have much plastic either. Might have to just swim out into the nothingness to get some plastic. Is the shark back yet? Hopefully not. Okay. Need to get more clay and plastic. Not plastic, I meant sand. I will sing little nonsense to myself sometimes as well, because that's just how I roll, baby. Very musical family. I was more of a band kid than like a choir kid, but um, I am not a very talented singer, but I do like singing. Because you know what? It's human nature to want to sing. We're like birds. Not literally, but just in the way that it's like, hey, humans like to sing and make art, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for a monetary purpose or like to be the best at it. It's just kind of because it's what we like to do, you know? So if you have a talent in something like, it's not even necessarily having to have a talent. You don't have to be like a freaking prodigy to do what you enjoy. Am I a good singer? I don't know. Am I even an okay singer? I don't know, but I like singing. And that's kind of why I went um, with the motif for my channel being Siren, because, fuck me, he's back, is one, because I love a lot of aquatic based games. That's just kind of a random thing, but like Subnautica and Raft is one I'm going to be doing. But, and Dredge, because I love Dredge. But also because, um, what was his name? Oh, um, because sirens, going with the kind of traditional Greek, um, like almost like mermaids, really, rather than like sometimes I think people get them confused with harpies, which are like the bird women, um, that also sing and lure people to their death or whatever. But I'm thinking more of the, excuse me, version of sirens that are sort of synonymous with like mermaids, basically. Had childhood obsession with mermaids. If you're a little girl, you are pretty much guaranteed to have an obsession with either wolves, horses, or mermaids. There are no other dragons. Actually, I forgot. Yeah, dragons too. And I said little girl, but I should really just mean a child. 'Cause how many weird kids are just really into that fucking dragon book you could get in the library as a kid? That shit ruled. Right. Coming up in an hour here, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break. I'm gonna go to main menu just so that the shark doesn't eat my raft around me as I'm, literally sitting here.